Hello everybody and welcome back to GameRant.com. I'm Anthony Taormina, editor-in-chief of the website. It's mailbag time. All right, so we've got something from our friends at SanDisk. We've been on a Nintendo Switch 2 kick lately, featuring all kinds of accessories, add-ons, things you might need. This is something that I think is super essential if you're picking up a Nintendo Switch 2 because you're gonna want that storage. You're gonna be putting tons of games. You're gonna be loading up all of your Nintendo Switch 1 games that have the updates. You're gonna be loading up new games. Game key cards are a thing. Those are just digital downloads. Game sizes are ballooning on the Nintendo Switch 2, so I think this micro SD Express card is going to be something you're very interested in. They've got two different options from SanDisk. They've got the 128 and they've got the 256. This is the 256 size. So this is $55.99 at e-tailers and retailers, but also for $44.99 you can pick the smaller version, the 128 gigabyte size. Now I'll get into it when I open it up, but there are a few important things that you need to know about micro SD cards as far as the Switch 2 is concerned. You cannot just use the same micro SD card that you were using on your Switch 1. You have to be looking for something specific. So in terms of read speed, you get up to 890 megabytes per second, and then write speed 750 megabytes per second. I mean, you're gonna get the fastest speed possible out of the Switch 2 handheld. So really it's just all about picking up this card, popping it into your Switch. I will show you how to put it into your Switch as well. You get a nice, you get 2-year subscription of Rescue Pro Deluxe Recovery software with your purchase of the micro SD Express card. All right, so it comes in a nice little plastic case if you want to carry that around, if maybe you want to pick up more than one. To be honest, size-wise, we're only really in like the lower end. I think that capacity will increase over time, but really 256 is what you're gonna see as the most common kind of like middle to high size-wise. So the most important thing about the micro SD Express, SanDisk has you covered here because they say right up front like, hey, this is a micro SD Express, but you're looking for that EX. So if you can see the EX on the side, that EX, you're looking for that. You need to have that in order for the Switch 2 to take advantage of it. If you don't have that, it is not meant for the Switch 2. So then for those that maybe are curious, I'll go get my Switch 2 and I'll show you how you pop that in. All right, so here you have your Nintendo Switch 2. As is, in the top, this is where you would put in your game key card, but getting access, you wanna look at the back, and then you flip up your kickstand, and then you have a spot here in the back. If you can see that, it says micro SD Express. I wasn't sure if it said card or not. And then you would take your SanDisk micro SD card Express. It does have a nice little picture there, if you can see that, of how to put it in properly, but you want to put it in face up like this with the little kind of grooves on the side. Your pins go like that, and you'd slide it into there. And then you'll hear a nice little clicking sound. So that's it in flush. And then there's a nice satisfying clicking sound as you slide it in. And then it's in. You can close that, and then you can power it back on. And it should format it if there's anything going on, and then be ready to go. You want to go into data management, and then you can see you've got your free space on the system memory, and then you've got your free space on the card. So you're actually getting 235 gigabytes of space with it formatted versus 256 total. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. That's nothing that SanDisk can do about. That's just what Switch 2 is giving you access to. But again, you're gonna want the card. Look, I have barely any games installed, and I'm almost halfway on the memory storage. When I first turned it on, it like installed all the games, and it way exceeded the storage on the system, and then started putting it onto my card. So having multiple is potentially the way to go. But I do think looking into micro SD Express cards, it really is essential for the Nintendo Switch 2, and SanDisk has a pretty cool option. Again, 128 option or the 256. This is the 256 gigabyte. It's the one that I would recommend, $55.99. You're like, for $10 more, you're doubling your storage space. And I think that's just the way to go. But thank you so much to SanDisk for sending us in the microSD Express card and letting us show you how it works with the Switch 2 and giving us our recommendation for using it. And thank you so much for watching today's Game Rant Mailbag. I'm Anthony Taormina. Have a great rest of your day.